Mackenzie Blackwood just shuts down the Devils. The Sharks have now won 5 of 7, baby. Let's go.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Western Conference Tuesdays on the Locked On NHL channel. I want to thank you for making the Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And your San Jose Sharks have now won 5 out of the last 7 games. They're a quarter of the way to beating their record last year. Mackenzie Blackwood just goes Super Saiyan tonight. 44 save performance over his former team, and just literally does whatever he wants. Mackenzie Blackwood, just do what you want, buddy. It's your life. We're just living in it right now. So we're going to dig into the numbers behind this game. Look at if the Sharks should continue to have the Lund line together, as they perform very well tonight. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Mackenzie Blackwood, man, that's got to feel great for him. And I know, like, before the game, he was trying to, of course, downplay it. And as his return to New Jersey, the team that traded him away for peanuts and a 6th-round pick. Remember, there was a segment of Sharks fans who were really mad the Sharks traded a 6th-round pick for Mackenzie Blackwood. I just want to check in with you guys. How's that going? Mackenzie Blackwood has been nothing short of brilliant since getting to San Jose, and he continued that tonight as the Sharks win 1-0 based on Mackenzie Blackwood's brilliance. And a game where, honestly, the Sharks should have scored, could have had 3 goals in this game, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But Blackwood, though, his importance to this, and I think he kind of helps exemplify what this team is. It's like scrappy. We're not going to quit. We're going to be in every game until the last minute. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep battling. And we're going to make it hard for you to win. You might win. You might eventually win because this team is just talent poor right now. But we're going to make you fight for it, or we're going to make you have to earn it. And the Sharks earned their win tonight, and the third period was very much the cat holding on to the dry line, like hang in there, baby, as the Sharks, let the Devils get 19 shots on goal. But this was a really fun, especially the first two periods, very fun back and forth between these two teams where the Sharks kind of took it to the Devils. I know the Devils' second night of a back-to-back, and the Sharks are going to have their own back-to-back. And I thought it was really, they mentioned a lot on the broadcast, but Ryan Warsofsky getting to the East Coast a day early to kind of get the team prepared to the time zone changes, and knowing the Devils are going to be coming in the second night of a back-to-back where they had to exert a lot of energy in their comeback win on Saturday night. The Sharks, they played really, really well in this game, and they probably deserved a little bit better than just the one goal that they had. But that's all they needed. And you kind of knew really early on that Blackwood was in that zone, and we've seen him get into these zones at times where it's just like you're going to have a special shot to it's going to be either like a special goal or the greasiest, garbagiest type of goal. And Blackwood was just he was great tonight, 100% great tonight. But it looked like it didn't even look like it was hard for him. There's a couple ones where he had to make some nice saves and stuff, but they were just, he was in the right place at the right time, made some saves when he needed to, but there was nothing where it felt scrambly for him, and he felt like he was in control, even when the Devils were doing everything they can. Of course, with the 6-on-4, late in the game, and then with the empty net situation, like Blackwood felt like he was in 100% control in this game, and he was like. And the Devils have a lot of special players who can do a lot of special things. Between the Hughes eyes, you have Timo Meier, who did score a goal tonight for San Jose. Thanks, Timo. Score a goal for you've got Jesper Bratt. You up and down. This lineup has a ton of special players, and Blackwood was just better tonight. And credit also to the Sharks defense, which until the third period, which again, really scrambly, they were basically hanging on there. I thought the defense played really, really well tonight in keeping, kind of limiting the Devils' chances, just kind of getting the puck moving a little bit. And they talked about it was a hard practice yesterday, and they were focusing on those areas of get the puck moving, kind of helping out defensively. I thought the defense responded really, really well tonight. I thought Henry Thrun was great tonight. Continues. We're seeing a pattern of Thrun, who did not play with Jan Ruda tonight, played with Cody Ceci. Again, Cody Ceci has had his issues and stuff, but I thought Thrun looked great tonight. I'm just gonna leave it there at that. But I thought Liljegren, another great game from him. Jack Thompson looked good. We'll save the Mario Ferraro discussion for another day. But you're seeing growth and development from these young players, and it helps too when if you make a mistake, Mackenzie Blackwood's back there right now just shutting things down. And I think this was a really great performance for the Sharks as they're trying to learn how to win. And now the next step is going to be, how do you put teams away, right? So where you're not playing the hang in there baby cat poster for the entire third period, how do you make a 1-goal lead into a 2-goal lead? And how do you make a 2-goal lead into a 3-goal lead and put teams away? And that's going to be the kind of the next thing the Sharks have to learn about. And that's, but for tonight, and we kind of went into this road trip saying if the Sharks can win 2 out of 4, you're going to feel really great. And we kind of circled the Flyers game tomorrow against a Flyers team that is a basement dweller like the Sharks, and then you circle the Penguins team, which has been one of the most Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde teams in the league, where some nights they look amazing and some nights they look terrible. So you're hoping you catch them on it. You circle those 2 games as you win those 2, you're going to feel really good. Well, you already won the Devils game. So if you can get one more, you're basically playing with house money for the rest of this road trip as this team tries to kind of figure out who they are going forward. And that's we talked about it. Just can you play a little bit better each month? October, terrible. No good. Very bad. But end of the month, they started kind of figuring things out. And you're seeing it roll into November here as this team is starting to kind of put things together. This team, they're starting to kind of gel a little bit. This is not a playoff team, but you want this team to grow and build on things. And I think that's you're starting to see that happen. So before we move on to kind of the numbers behind the game and talk about just how back and forth this was, especially that second period, do want to go back to Blackwood, who again was absolutely special tonight. 44 saves on 44 shots, 0 goals against, expected goals against 4.12 in all situations. The Devils should have scored 4 goals tonight. They scored 0. 8 high danger saves on 8 shots, 9 on 9 mid danger, 25 low danger. And that goes back to what I was talking about with the defense, where they did a great job of keeping things on the outside. And that way Blackwood had plenty of time to see it and to react to it. And he mentioned in the post-game press, it feels like the puck is coming at me slower than normal. And so, well, it helps when when the defense is helping to kind of, and the forwards too, when everybody's helping to kind of push things out to those low danger opportunities, it gives you a little bit more time to be able to prepare for that shot. And Blackwood was special tonight. So great team effort, great win. Again, you don't want to live in a world where you're giving up 19 shots, but like Blackwood was wonderful tonight. Just absolutely brilliant tonight. So, but the defense really did help him out. So we'll dig into more of the numbers of this game. Definitely talk about kind of the back and forth between the Sharks. How they kind of own they were taking it to the Devils, and the third period made the numbers way more wonkier. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. So if you sign up today, you'll get you'll get $50 instantly. When you play $5, you don't even need to win to receive your $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. With PrizePicks, you can win money on your favorite players and collect points. So if you think Macklin Celebrini scores in the Celebrini versus Michkov, or Will Smith scores against these Will Smith, Celebrini versus Michkov game, all you got to do is pick them. You more in your PrizePicks entry and turn your predictions into cash. So download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. And if you want to get tickets to go see the Sharks at the Tank, which you really should, because this team is starting to become really fun, you need to check out Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. They filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, or so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have curated deals to make it easier to find the best seats priced on great seats. Of course, you can see your seats before you buy. Nothing worse than getting to a game and realizing my seats stink. You have to worry about that at the Tank. Or if you want to catch the Sharks on the road right now, they got you covered there. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, let's dig into the numbers behind this game. So 5-on-5, we had about 48 minutes of it. The last, basically 4 minutes are just watch because between power play and then empty netter, that is all does not count for these stats. But shot attempts were 64 to 45 in favor of the Devils. We'll talk about the third period here in a minute. Actual shots on goal 32 to 24 at 5-on-5, 24 to 18 scoring chances, all these in favor of the Devils, and then 11 to 9 high danger chances in favor of the Sharks, 2.36 to 1.72 expected goals for in favor of the Devils. But you look at the first 2 periods, and it was a very even game. And that's what I really liked about this game was each team kind of took their turns doing stuff, and then the other team responded, especially that second period where you have a Devils penalty or a Devils power play, and then after that the Sharks kind of do some stuff, and then they get a power play. And then the Devil, it was a terrible power play. The power play for the Sharks was not good tonight. Terrible power play. And then the Devils respond. And it just they're kind of building off that power play. And then all of a sudden, it goes the other way. The Sharks, they're able to string a bunch of shifts together. And then they earn a power play at the end of the third period, or at the end of the second period. But you had a lot of that tonight where it was just okay, we're going to spend the next like 4 to 5 minutes stringing together some shifts, and then we're going to spend the next 4 to 5 minutes stringing together some shifts. Like a lot of that tonight, and I thought that's what made this such a fun game, where it did feel very much like anybody's night tonight, and just Mackenzie Blackwood was better. In the first period, like the shot attempts were a little bit skewed towards the Devils, 19-15. But the actual shots at 5-on-5 were 10-9 in favor of the Sharks, with a 0.58 to 0.31 expected goals for. In the second period at 5-on-5, it was 2019 shot attempts with 4 to 10 actual shots in favor of the Devils, but a 1.22 to 0.99 expected goal. Like really, really close, and between both the like really fun. I think that's what made this a really fun game. But then the third period, the Devils just were like put the pedal to the metal to try to tie this thing up. They had 25 in 16 minutes at 5-on-5. They had 25 shot attempts to the Sharks 11. 15-4 scoring chances, 10-5 shots actually on goal, 4-1 high danger chances, 0.83 to 0.14 expected. And that's where we talked about earlier, the like, how do you put teams away? And that's going to be the next step for the Sharks, is you're starting to learn how to win, which is great. Then how do you start to put teams away? And that's not like something they're going to learn right away, but it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that looks. So looking at the forward lines tonight, it's weird. The fourth line like just didn't get enough ice time to kind of be considered in the when you look at the like evolving hockey or natural stat tricks stuff. Like they just didn't get a lot of ice time, which especially in a 1-goal game, you're trying to hold on. You're going to keep playing, throwing at your best players. So the Ty Dellandrea, Macklin Celebrini, Tyler Toffoli line, they played 12-19 at 5-on-5, 8 to 13 shot attempts, 1 to 6 shots on goal, 0.3 to 0.37 expected goals for. 4 to 5 high danger chances, 2 to 2. 4 to 5 scoring chances, 2 to 2 high danger chances. So they were very much quality this tonight. That was their whole thing. Like, need to do a better job of getting actual puck on net, but they were creating a lot of quality stuff happening tonight and just couldn't get the puck on net more. And I think that's going to be kind of the next thing for Celebrini, who looked great tonight, but it's still the learning. What can I get away with in the NHL? And especially again, guy who's played 4 or 5 NHL games now. What can I get away with in the NHL, and what do I need to learn that I'm not quite there yet with? So, but you saw him. I thought celebrating. There was a big play, like defensively late in the game. Come on the back check, comes back and wins a board battle to kind of get the puck out of the zone. Excuse me. So he's fine. I'm curious to see what they do with that winger, who played with Dellandrea tonight, with Will Smith out with development day. We'll talk about that here a little bit more in the third segment. But the Lund line was reunited with great success. 11-27 time on ice, 19-15 shot attempts, 13-8 actual shots, 0.2 to 0.19 expected goals for. So again, Celebrini line did more expected goals for, expected by whom, I know, et cetera, et cetera. But there is just that quality, right, for them, compared to the Lund line. 7-6 scoring chances, 4 to 2 high danger chances for that line. So very much like feast or famine. And this number was a lot better before the third period, where again it was very much like the Devils were doing everything they can to try to tie this game. Cunnin, Wenberg, Goodrow played 9:37, 6-19 shot attempts, 2 to 7 actual shots, 0.18 to 0.57 expected goals for. And so, yeah, we'll discuss that here a little bit more. So as the Sharks try to kind of figure out the lines, especially with Smith and his development days, so very much in for, like, we'll get to that here in a minute. But overall, though, I think you have to feel really good about kind of the way the Sharks played individually for the individually for the defenseman. Timothy Liljegren, his Corsi 4 was 51.85, Ferraro's 48.57, CC 44.90, Ruda 44, Thrun 40, and then Jack Thompson was at 22.22 tonight for their Corsi 4. And again, that's all 5-on-5. We know the Devils, like, third period really skews those numbers a little bit here. Thrun and Ruda both did. No, sorry. Ruda and Thompson both did leave the game for a little bit. Ruda took a shot to the head that there was a penalty on. And then Thompson, I think he blocked a shot for a little bit and had to kind of walk it off, but he was back in the game as well. So, and sounds like Wallman, he was game time decisions tonight. So I assume he's probably going to be back tomorrow. We'll figure out what happens. I'm guessing Thompson comes out, but that's your defense right there. All right, we'll talk about kind of how to mix up these lines here as the Sharks get ready to play the Flyers, and kind of, what to expect here, and if the Sharks should try to keep the Lund line together as best they can, at least. So get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. This FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So you get the hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, before we continue and we talk about the Lund line, I do want to, of course, thank you guys for making the Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, go check out one of the other great shows here at the Locked On Network. Of course, you have Locked On Fantasy Hockey. So if your team needs some help, need to scour the waiver wire, need to figure out who to maybe dump on your team, who to target and trade, go check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey. They'll help you out there. Or check out one of the other shows here in the Bay Area. You have Locked On Niners, who tried to kick away this game as they won against the Bucks. You got Locked On Warriors, and Good Time Warriors seem to be back. Locked On A's, Locked On Giants. Plenty of great stuff going on here in the Bay Area. So remember, here at Locked On, where we cover your team every day. All right, the Lund line. So reunited today with Will Smith out, and I'm curious to see how Warsofsky tries to put this thing back together right now, because the Alex Wenberg, right, has usually been playing on the second line with Will Smith on the third line, and this Lund line has been really great going back to end of last year, and the few times that they played this year, the Lund line has been very good. Like, all those pieces make sense. I'm curious to see what the Sharks do here, especially the difficult part is you're trying to keep Celebrini and Smith in their natural center positions. So you have like four centers in Wenberg, Granlund, Celebrini, and Smith for three spots, right? You have musical chairs here. Do the Sharks put Will Smith back on the third line, right, with the Cunning Gaudreau, which has been right. We've all watched it. It's not my favorite thing to do. I think you need some more skilled players on that line. Just because I think it's hard for, like, it's tough sledding for a guy like Will Smith to kind of like create, et cetera, et cetera. With the Lund line, it's been great, but then you still that leaves you the question of where do you put Wenberg, who's a center? Do you maybe put him on the top line with Toffoli and Celebrini and have him play on the wing there, which is something he could do? Do you move him back to this second line and break up the Lund line and have Granlund play the top line there? But we've kind of seen, like, Granlund on the second line, like the Wenberg, Zetterlund, Eklund line hasn't really worked quite yet. And they haven't played much, to be honest, either. So you wonder if maybe that's a potential option as well. Or do you just bite the bullet and put Will Smith on the second line with Eklund and Zetterlund? Or do you put Granlund with Will Smith and like Zetterlund and then move Eklund to the top line to play? Do you put the 70s line together, which we really didn't get to see much of? And I know Warsofsky kind of called out Eklund and said, we need to see more of you. I thought Eklund was great tonight. He had a he had a great feed to Zetterlund that should have been a goal. I get the rule there. He's trying, they thought he pushed the pads, but the puck clearly hops over his leg and then the pads get pushed. But anyway, so do you put the 70s line back together and have Eklund, who played really well tonight, responded positively after kind of getting challenged and said, we need more out of you. Eklund also had another great feed to Zetterlund, who was wide open and wasn't able to get. Anyway, Eklund was great tonight. Do you put the 70s line back together, which was kind of the original plan that we didn't get to see very much of, and those guys practiced a lot during the preseason and training camp? You put that line together, have the Will Smith, Granlund, Zetterlund line, where Granlund can kind of help cover up some spots and stuff. And then you have the Wenberg, Goodrow, Cunnin line. And that's kind of what I would do if I was Warsofsky, because I think that Wenberg line, like, they can be defensively good and okay, and kind of like that's going to be their role. And then you let the Smith and Celebrini lines kind of do their things. And especially if Granlund's there to kind of help out Will Smith, like, that's what I would do, because I think those puts everybody in their best position to succeed. And I think Wenberg can play the Wenberg, Cunnin, Gaudreau line. Well, it's not my favorite line, and I would like to have offense, because I think having 3 good lines is better than having 2 good lines. Like, they would have a very clear defined role, right? And especially if you're not going to play your 4th line much. And when these very tight games, right, we have seen Ryan Warsofsky shorten the bench a lot. You look tonight where the 4th line just barely played in a very close game. Giovanni Smith played 5:27, Grundstrom played 6:03, and Nico Sturm played 7:14 in all situations. Then the jump up from those 3, Alex Wenberg was the next guy. Lowest guy is 16 minutes and 4 seconds. Like, there is very clear defined. These are the 9 guys I'm going to roll with. So, Granlund and Eklund leading the way in time on ice. So good to see Eklund didn't stay in the doghouse for very long. So that I'm curious to see what they do there with if Warsofsky is going to roll 3 lines, especially in these tight games, because this team is not good enough to really take, kind of put teams away, and every game is going to be a tight game. Maybe you move Nico Sturm up, who's played really well, can do a lot of stuff. Like, he can score. I know he scored tonight on a weird goal, but like, he does have a little bit of offensive pop. He's a wizard in the faceoffs. Like, maybe you give him a little bit more of a role. I'm just curious to see what you do with that 3rd line. Do you put the Smith just automatically go back there? Do you give Smith a chance to kind of play with some more talented players, but in a bigger, it's maybe with some more responsibilities? I'm really curious to see. I think the Flyers are a good opportunity to kind of do a little bit of test here, because this Flyers team is just honestly not very good, right? They're below the Sharks in the standings. And if you're below the Sharks in the standings, you're not very good. That's just clearly, sorry. How long until the Sharks, when teams lose to the Sharks and we stop hearing like embarrassment and stuff like that? I was thinking about that today as the Sharks won. When does that go away? But question for another day. Anyway, yeah, man, I can't. It's really fun to watch the Sharks. Not a perfect team, far from a perfect team, but they're just doing the things we asked. Is Can you be competitive? Yes. Can you win some games here and there? And can you give me something to watch? Like the Sharks are just doing that. And when Celebrity's on the ice, he does special things. Like you're getting, contributions from guys like Blackwood and Vitek Vanacek. Like this is a fun team. They may not be good, but they're a fun team and they're going to give you something to watch every night. So make sure you guys are following along. Sharks go for 2 in a row. Try to beat the Flyers. So make sure, we'll be back tomorrow for that. I do love East Coast swings. So we'll be back for that. Make sure you're following wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.